Hi, I'm Rebecca. I don't know where to start. I'm doing this because someone had reached out on one of my videos, and I thought I would share a little bit about myself. I was born in South Georgia. I don't know where. And I was yanked from the home by Family and Children's Services for child abuse. And I don't really remember. I was probably about 2. I remember my foster mother very well. She's a beautiful woman. And I was adopted the first time I met my adopted parents, and that's from that point to now is all I really remember. I locked myself in the bathroom. I didn't like them at all. But that's neither here nor there. It's really so I was adopted by F. John Crump, Sarah Crump. I got a picture. This was not about the time I was adopted, I guess. Right there. I was just a little kid. This was the man, the adopted father. She's in here somewhere. I'll find her. I have a picture of her. I know I do. Well, maybe. I guess I don't know. I guess I left it in there. But anyway, it's not important. Not that she's not important, but growing up in that family was a little bit difficult. It was a lot difficult. One person that I loved the most and I bonded with was this man right here. It's my grandfather. I loved him from the start. It was didn't know it at the time, but it was really going to be a challenge living in that house. My dad had been married before, had 3 children, quite a bit older than me. She despised them, of course. They didn't really care for her either, since she was the reason why their mother and my dad wasn't together anymore. It was a back and forth there for a while, and what I gathered from my stepsister. And then I guess he finally stayed with my adopted mother. And that's where I come into play. She didn't want children. Of course, he had a vasectomy, and we all know how well those took back in the 70s. I know several people who've had children that had a vasectomy. And the reason why I say that is because I often asked if maybe I was the reason why they broke up, if it was my fault. No, Dad had a vasectomy. Well, I understand that, but they didn't take too well back then. And I can't imagine anything that a woman won't take her husband back for, aside from the fact that they committed adultery, but maybe finding out he was unfaithful a second time and had a child. I did find out I have brothers and either brothers, sisters combination. I was the youngest child. I did not find that out through my adopted parents. In fact, she lied to me about it. She was not a very nurturing mother. She had had a child herself when she was about 29 and gave it up for adoption. She didn't want it. Several years later, I guess she either wanted to adopt a child to keep him at home, or maybe they just didn't have a choice. Maybe when I was yanked from the home, they contacted the actual father. I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. They're both gone, and my stepsister and stepbrother don't keep in contact with me. So there you go. And the one stepbrother who did killed himself, so and he had offered to take a DNA test to see if we might be half instead of step. I didn't like growing up in the house. I kept my bedroom locked. I'd go to sleep until the day I threw my shit out the window of the bedroom, tied a sheet to the desk leg, and went out the window. I used to have terrible nightmares. And he infuriated me a lot. He just did things that weren't right. He tickled me between my legs, and I did not like it. I hated it. It just really was an uneasy feeling. I didn't care for that. That's mild compared to later. My mother was a drill sergeant. Everything had to be to a T. I wasn't allowed to ask for anything or want anything without a whole lot of chores added on, and I had to act like I was being prepped to take over the Queen's spot. It's rough growing up. I retaliated a lot. I did. Nobody really knew about that. Nobody wanted to know about it. I mean, I had a few issues with some family members. They weren't interested in what was going on. Why that this sweet child had turned into just a cousin that was adopted in the family. I think that's what they said, a cousin adopted in the family. And I've already apologized to one of my cousins, a very sweet, beautiful woman, for any of the drama surrounding their immediate family. And I'm doing pretty well, considering I was introduced to porno at a really ungodly young age through my adopted dad. And fights between my mother and I escalated quite a bit. She would embarrass me when I'd have friends over. She would spank me with whatever she could get her hands on. It just got to, I just was so infuriated. I would get so angry, I would hit myself and pull my hair and stand in front of the mirror. And years later, I've had 2 marriages. One wasn't all that great, but he's doing better for himself. Yes, we did have a son. I always said I didn't want to have children, but that was misconstrued. And I think that the person who said that to my son knows better about what I meant. just wasn't mother material. I didn't feel like I could do that. I didn't want to hurt my child or put them through any type of pain or suffering that I'd went through. He's graduated from college. He's been a business accountant for years. Very smart. He doesn't talk to me. Well, we talked a little bit, but he's obviously been lied to, but that's fine. I've already explained myself. I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't feel like that is necessary. There are two sides to every coin, and I have repeatedly explained how I'm going to. My life got a little bit better when I moved out. My mom, years later, apologized for being too hard on me. I accepted her apology. I thought we got close. When she passed away, the lovely neighbor up the hill had her put in a assisted living. When I went to visit her at Christmas, I was told I wasn't allowed to see her. I needed to talk to the power of attorney. Who's the power of attorney? Well, we can't tell you that. Okay. I spent a lot of time trying to find a lawyer to handle that process. Mother passed away. I went to see her at the funeral home. This is when COVID, just 2020. I seen her at the funeral home. I went one to the funeral services because I was afraid that I would cause a scene. My ex-husband said, no, I wouldn't have let you done that. And I thought, you wouldn't have stopped me. He knows a little bit about that. Yeah, it was a violent relationship. I think I busted a hairdryer over his head from behind. After he hit me, I got back up. I didn't take to that too well. But he's doing better. He's married. He's great. He's doing wonderful. Going through the will, I found out there was a second will. He never had a falsified will, and I know it's fake and I can prove it, but she basically took everything. And it's been difficult. It really has. My dad's kids, they offered to help out. The ex-mother-in-law did, but that was just for show for my son, of course. I've been fighting the battle ever since. If I'd have known, I could have got. I know it's the first time, you go through this. If I'd have known, I should have just got a handwriting specialist to take care of it. Didn't know that at the time. It's been rough. And there's no closure. I think, I just rant and rave and swearing profanities, and I couldn't believe that I forgive someone who stabbed me in the back. Parents are supposed to love their kids. And she didn't. I don't even think she loved herself. I'm writing a book about it. I stopped for a little while to do some things here on YouTube, and I took a lot of time off. Anyway, I don't think I can. I think it's about enough. I don't think I can talk about it anymore. I'm sorry. That's a little bit about me for anyone that's interested. Thank you.